Yesterday's title update for Black Ops 4 gave us a lot. It gave us a lot of weapon balancing, it gave us Nuketown on PlayStation 4, it gave us Blackjack Shop on PS4, all that stuff coming 1 week later, next Tuesday for Xbox One and PC users. One additional thing that was added in, and again, you guys on Xbox One and PC can look forward to jump into next week, is that of the legacy or icon characters for the Battle Royale mode Blackout. Now, if you're like me and absolutely love Blackout, it's something you definitely want to go for to try and either get the completion or just to have that sort of overall bragging rights of, hey, I did this and you should fear me as a result in game. I don't know if that's exactly the mentality everybody will have, but certainly is some bragging rights whenever you end up getting some of the tougher challenges. So today we're gonna break down how to get the brand new legacy characters in Blackout, that being Mason, Woods, Menendez, and Reznov. So fair warning, some of these challenges are going to be quite hard and some are gonna be rather meticulous and require you to keep going over and over again. I know that going for some of these myself, it's almost completely destroyed some of my stats in a very short period of time. Somebody that likes to be at a higher caliber there, it brings it down a peg if you end up dying immediately every single match because you can't get the questline item. Let's start out with probably one of the easier ones here of this, that being Woods. So to end up getting Sergeant Frank Woods in Blackout, what you have to do is you have to find his bandana first and foremost. Now this is something that can be found in the compound just outside of Array and just outside of construction. It's the clearing from Black Ops 1, the iconic scene of, you see that hind, we're gonna take it. That clearing is in the upper portion of quadrant B3, and once there it should be a static location for the bandana to spawn. The only downside, well, two downsides actually, is one, right now there's going to be a lot of people dropping there and the loot is, let's say, not all that ideal. And in terms of quantity, not much at all. But it also comes down to a situation of the bandana doesn't always spawn. I think that whenever I went into this, out of the 10 games that I played, maybe 4 times it spawned, maybe 5. But that's a very generous association in my memory with that. It honestly could be even less. But the spawn point from what I know is relatively static. When you end up going in, there's the tarp where the helicopter will be. Again, that can spawn and sometimes won't spawn, but you'll end up seeing right next to that tarp on the ground, there is a buildup of containers and different shipping crates. On the bottom box that protrudes outside from that, you'll end up seeing that the bandana will spawn there. If it doesn't, to my knowledge, it won't spawn in that game, very similar to how the Annihilator worked with the Seraph questline and firing range, where it just comes down to randomosity at that point. But if it is there, be that first one to grab it and then dip out as fast as you can, unless you want to play fast and loose and you really want to get into the thick of it and want to try and take out everybody there. That's assuming you can end up finding a gun in time. There's very few spawns there. There sometimes will be a stash just short of where the bandana is, but oftentimes it's across the compound. But all you have to do for this one is once you get that bandana, get into a helicopter and fly it for about 30 seconds, and then it will tick off that you've completed that part of the challenge, which is literally stated, you see that hind? So you get that 30 seconds in of fly time, then you're good. You can ditch the helicopter if you really want to. But the next part that becomes a little tough is you have to win the game with the bandana in your inventory. The secondary portion of that quest line is you can't kill me, i.e. you have to win the match. So add into the fact that it doesn't spawn all the time and then you have to play it out to get that perfect match of winning it also. It's a little bit of a tough storm to weather if you end up going for this challenge in particular. If I were to give you my honest best suggestion, I'd say wait a week or so for this one while it dies down so it doesn't become as much of a hotly contested area upon dropping into the map, but that's completely up to you. The second one we'll talk about here deals with Reznov. This is probably the second easiest, or maybe even tied for the easiest of the bunch, but for this one, all you have to do is you have to find Reznov's Ushanka hat. This can be sometimes located at multiple different places. I've found it more so than others, out of states more so than any other location. So far, I've heard whispers that it's at Asylum, the fountain there. I've heard that it's at the fountain in between the Stronghold and the raid side of Estates, but I've more so found it on the red circular statue in Estates on the raid side. That's where I've found it all times so far, but I haven't seen it the other places, but I've heard it's there. So feel free to explore if you want, but that's where I definitely know it will spawn. It seems like it is, again, another random RNG thing where it doesn't spawn all the time, but it will be there some of the time. But all you have to do is find this, and then the challenge associated with it is to get one extreme range kill, and then to place top 2 in squads, top 3 in duos, or top 5s in solos with the hat in your inventory. Now, this is where it becomes really tough, if I'm honest with you, because the get one extreme range kill has to be 200 meters or more. And to put it into perspective, I'll put up a clip on screen right now for you guys for some snipes that I had a couple of days back. This was 259 meters. That's quite a long-range kill, and if I'm being honest with you, I haven't come across that many situations in Blackout since launch that I've had the opportunity to get those sort of distance kills. Now, I'm not entirely sure if at the moment it is something you can finish somebody off in squads like that if they're down. You can end up running across the field and then finishing them off from 200 meters. I haven't seen if that works just yet, but it is something that 200 meters is quite a long way. So my best suggestion here for this one is honestly try and get this, pick up a sniper early game, camp out maybe the cliffside if it ends up going that way towards, say, Turbine and all that, where it's the desert biome. Or if you can end up getting, say, a paladin out of a supply drop or a supply stash, definitely try making use of that, because this is gonna be a tough one, and it's gonna be one that probably does require a little bit of patience, probably requires you to end up going back to collect this each game and just keep trying it over and over until you finally get it. But that's how you end up inevitably getting Reznov, and it's one that rounds us into the tougher ones here, because the next one we'll talk about actually has a little bit of a prerequisite, that being Mason. So the Mason character skin within Blackout is the first one that we've seen has a prerequisite associated with it, but this one you have to find firstly the stained white t-shirt, which is available in supply stashes as well as supply drops, so be on the lookout for those if you either find a crate or you see an airdrop coming in from afar. But for this one, what you have to do once you pick up that item of the stained white t-shirt is you have to firstly play the game as Reznov. So you have to unlock the Reznov character mission before you end up getting the Mason character mission even started. So once you end up unlocking Reznov, I'd honestly say if you're going for these skins, just play as a Reznov main. Don't take it off until you end up getting Mason. But that's the first part associated with this quest line and this challenge, is to play as Reznov. Then you have to end up waking the sleeper agent, which is to activate the emergency broadcast located in a raid. That's also a dark ops challenge, so if you don't have that and you end up getting this and you have Reznov already equipped, you can kill two birds with one stone. After that, the only thing associated with this is to finish top 3 in solos, top 2 in duos, and probably top 2s as well in quads. It's not yet known what that specific number is. It might even be to win in quads, but that's something you have to just finish with the t-shirt in your inventory, and once you've done the other portions of that challenge, you're good to go and you'll unlock Mason. Now the final challenge we'll talk about here today deals with Menendez, and this one is probably tied there with Mason for the toughest one here. Just situationally it depends. It doesn't have any prerequisites like you'll have to with Mason, where you have to play as Reznov, but this one you have to end up finding Menendez's locket, and this is available out of supply drops. Now this is where it becomes tough, because you usually find these supply drops late game, unless you find one in a supply stash randomly early game and you somehow beat somebody else out to a shotgun or a weapon and they don't have much armor or health. Then it might be a little easier, but from all accounts that I've seen, and also I ended up getting this in our pre-release capture event out in Los Angeles a couple of days before the game actually went live, the challenge remains unchanged. So it's something that still, even from then, was really tough, and it blew me away at that point. But what you have to do once you find the locket is to kill an enemy with a shotgun, kill an enemy with a melee attack, and to finish the match with a locket in your inventory. Now, while it doesn't have any win associated with it or any specific placing needed, that's really tough if you find a supply drop late game, especially if you're a solo. Because firstly, not everybody carries around a shotgun. I know that I drop that first chance I get because you're gonna have a lot of other weapons that are way better, and come late game, that's important. Plus, the melee attack, you don't usually ever see somebody punching somebody to death for a win. However, from the exchanges that I've seen from the community, it seems like this gets a lot easier though in duos and quads, because you can end up having one person run a shotgun and also have the melee ready for this, but what you can end up doing, and it counts towards it apparently, is you can end up finishing off somebody that is downed with your fists. And supposedly that counts towards that melee attack, so that's one big portion already out of the way, and seemingly it will do the same with a shotgun as well. So if you end up finding this in duos and quads, probably gonna be worlds easier than if you try and do it with a solo match, so bear that one in mind. But once you end up doing that, again, just finish the match with the lock in your inventory, and you have Menendez, who, in my opinion, is the funniest looking character to wingsuit into the game with, because he's in a bright white suit, and the wingsuit is just random webbing between the suit itself. It's nothing that, like the other specialists, actually fits thematically, it's just a white webbing. But I digress. That is the final challenge here for the legacy characters in Blackout. Now the curious part to me is that we still just don't have 4 zombies characters, Nikolai, Richthof, and Takeo and Dempsey, but we end up seeing that everyone else in the Blackout character selection is available. The other ones, those sort of soldiers in the icons tab, those being for your echelon ranking, that being 20, 40, 60, 80, and 80 prestige. But outside of that, we are coming to a close on what will be newer here. So I'm wondering if we're approaching our first drop of new content for Black Ops Ops 4, in which we'll probably have some more with new characters to unlock at a later point. That said, your guess is as good as mine, but right now we do have some awesome ones on our hands here for the legacy characters, which it ties into some of the storyline. I'm still working on that video if you guys are interested in that, but certainly excited to end up jumping back into Blackout and completing these and all the other challenges still on deck that I may have. But that's gonna wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you guys looking forward to any particular Blackout character out of these? Mason, Menendez, Reznov, or Woods? Which one are you guys looking forward to the most? Also, if you guys want to see more Blackout guides, tutorials, or just regular gameplay videos, feel free to let me know. I love Blackout, man. I've been having so much fun with this game mode, and I'm excited to share it a little further. Been streaming it on Twitch and all that kind of stuff, so I'm all for posting more about it if you guys want to. But that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, multiplayer, Blackout, zombies, you name it, we got you covered here on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those, so those links are in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.